Greetings. My name is Abdullah. I'm from New York City. And welcome to my channel. The purpose of this channel is to help advanced speakers of English move from their current level to a native level or near native level so that they speak English as if English were their first language. Likewise, another reason for this channel is accent reduction, so that you can, inshallah, pronounce words as I pronounce them, me being a native speaker, and inshallah, that will improve your language. I always use newspapers from the United States and the UK, as I feel that learning vocabulary from a newspaper is way better than learning from movies. After saying that, let's get started with today's article. It is very interesting. The title: Spoon's bouncer put fake bomb in toilets so he could find it and be called a hero. This comes to us from metro.co.uk. And the author is Sean Elvin, written on Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. And here we have a picture of the location. We will get into the details and a picture of the person who planted the bomb. A security officer working in a Weatherspoons created a hoax bomb because he wanted to look like a hero. The words that you see highlighted in green, inshallah, I will explain them at the end of the video. Stephen Oliphant, 26, reported the suspicious item at the Hat and Feathers in Seaham, County Durham. Around 100 people were evacuated on a busy Friday night, and a bomb disposal unit was called. The pub had to be shut for 24 hours due to the incident. Oliphant of Stanley Street, Halton Spring, Sunderland, Tyne and Wear, admitted making the bomb hoax in magistrates' court last month. This is in northern England, Tyne and Wear. It's actually named after their rivers there, Tyne and Wear. Let's continue. Claire Anderson, prosecuting, said Oliphant was on shift on the evening of, let's read that again. Claire Anderson, prosecuting, said Oliphant was on shift on the evening of November 19th, 2021, when he went into the men's toilets and left the device in a cubicle behind the toilet. He went to his manager to report finding the suspicious item under the pretense of checking the toilets. How nice of him to check. The manager then found a white box with wire coming out, and a mobile phone attached to the front. Emergency protocol was followed, and bomb disposal workers confirmed the device was a fake. After examining the package, Oliphant's fingerprints were found on the tape of the device, and he was arrested. He claimed to have picked it up to examine it and take a picture of it, but when his home was searched, police found numerous components which suggested he had made the device. Oliphant initially said that was a coincidence, but later gave no comment responses. Later, denying being part of an extremist organization, he said it was a joke and that he wanted to look like a hero. He said he did not intend to put people in fear. Miss Anderson said there was a 7,000-pound loss in takings, and it left many staff distressed at the time. His actions also cost Durham constabulary 1,523 pounds. Mitigating, Peter Sabiston said Oliphant intended no malice towards any individual. He added, in this case, he's manufactured the device himself, which I accept is an aggravating feature. He's demonstrated in his pre-sentence probation report that he's come to terms with what he has done. He's a man who is immature, even though he is now 25. Mr. Sebastian said the defendant was bullied as a child and he was unable to join the army, which led him suffering from depression. He did not, however, take his advised medication and is now seeking therapy and taking it. This low self-esteem and depression might have been an underlying reason for his actions in seeking to be a hero, Mr. Sebastian said. Mr. Sebastian added, It's now 18 months since the offense, and he has shown a degree of insight into his offending. He said Oliphant did not consider the financial and emotional effects of his actions would have at the time. Jailing him for a year at Durham Crown Court, Judge James Adkins said, for reasons which remain somewhat opaque, you placed an item with the superficial appearance of being a bomb. Coming to the end of the article, there were about 100 members of the public there who needed to be ushered from the premises, and no doubt you were still there as the bomb disposal unit attended. It transpired it was a device you cobbled together from a mobile phone and other items in your bedroom. He said the sentence had to be immediate, adding, there has to be a deterrent to dissuade members of the public from such actions. Weatherspoons has been in the headlines recently after last week it emerged in court that a woman mugged her own mom of her handbag. This is a very, very, very interesting story. And, tell me what you think about this. In my opinion, we all follow the rule in the A'malu bin Niyat. So this man wanted to be a hero. He wanted the praise of the people for something that obviously he did not do. So he tried to essentially make a lie in order to try to become famous. Now, inshallah, we will discuss the vocabulary within this article to help deepen our understanding of it. Without a doubt, this was an interesting article. People have different minds. I want to now go through this article, inshallah, and talk about the vocabulary in it. And this will, inshallah, deepen our understanding of what we have read. And also, as we reread, that too helps us to understand further. So let's start with our first word, which is bouncer. A bouncer is a security guard. But a security guard at a nightclub or a bar. So, Mr. Oliphant here is a bouncer, and we see his picture here on the right-hand side, and the place where he worked on the left-hand side. Let's continue. Next, we have the word hoax. Hoax is a great word. Hoax means something that deceives or defrauds. Something that deceives or defrauds. I give you an example of a hoax. I want you to imagine some people in a country want to sell some land, and they claim that the land has gold in it. And they may show you some gold, for example, and they say, this gold we took from out of that land. This is why this land is so expensive. So somebody buys the land, and they begin to try to mine the gold from out of the land. And what do they find? Nothing but rocks. This was a hoax that the buyer was deceived or defrauded. So let's look at our sentence. A security officer working in Weatherspoons created a hoax bomb because he wanted to look like a hero, meaning the bomb was intended to deceive people. Let's continue. We have here our next sentence. The sentence is evacuate. Evacuate means to leave empty. Evacuate means to leave empty. Usually, the word evacuate is used in cases of emergency. So, for example, there's a fire in a building. So the building must be evacuated. And that's exactly what happened here, except it wasn't a fire, it was a bomb. Let's look at our sentence, or rather a fake bomb. Our sentence says around 100 people were evacuated on a busy Friday night, meaning they had to leave the building empty. Pretense, an amazing word. Pretense here means a false claim. CLAIM. So here, he went to his manager to report finding the suspicious item under the pretense of checking the toilet. So his false claim was that he's going to check the toilets, make sure nobody's fighting, make sure nobody's passed out in the bar. But that was just really a lie, a fake claim. He was going there to plant the bomb. Next, we have in takings. I thought this was interesting vocabulary. That is why I highlighted it. In takings means profit. The amount of money that was made that day, or could have been made in this situation. So it says, Miss Anderson said there was a 7,000 pound loss in takings, meaning in profit. She did not make $7,000 that day. Her profit was down $7,000 because of the hoax bomb planted by Oliphant. Opaque. Opaque here means not clear or hard to understand. UNDERSTAND. So, jailing him for a year at Durham Crown Court, Judge James Adkins said, for reasons which remain somewhat opaque, meaning not clear or hard to understand. You placed an item with the superficial appearance of being a bomb. So again, the word opaque means, again, something that is difficult to understand. An example sentence could be, for example, who can trust them? Their actions are always opaque, meaning you don't know exactly what they're doing, so they're hard to trust. Again, opaque in this sentence, in this context, means something that is not clear, something that is hard to understand. Moving on, we have come to our last word, which is dissuade. Dissuade is the opposite of persuade. So persuade or rather, excuse me, dissuade means to deter, to try to convince someone not to do something. To convince someone not to do something. SOMETHING. So, an example sentence: my neighbor tried to dissuade me from buying a used car. So I took his advice and I bought a new car. Dissuade. In this situation, let's look at our sentence. It says, he said the sentence had to be immediate. These are the words of the judge. Adding, there has to be a deterrent to dissuade members of the public from such actions. Meaning to convince other people not to do the same thing. Meaning in this situation, make fake bombs and place them in public places because you want people to look at you like a hero. I think this has been a great article. Let's discuss it in the comments. This article comes to us from metro.co.uk and the author is Sean Elvin. I want for you to do a couple things. Number one, if you have learned something from this video, then click like, inshallah. Likewise, don't be stingy. Send it to somebody else that is like yourself, that has a high level of language and they want to move it up to the next level of being native or near native. Lastly, take one of the vocabulary words, inshallah, and write a sentence with them. If you write to me, I will write to you. And after that, reread the article. Turn the volume all the way down, turn the sound off, and read the article as I read it to you. And that way, inshallah, you can improve your language. In the end, I want to say, I wish for myself and all of you the best in this life and the next. Fi aman ar-Rahman.